Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty historic in music, wouldn't you
No.
say?
Oh, absolutely. More than just a concert. It felt like a real moment.
Yeah, like a monumental farewell for a band that basically invented a whole genre, right? Black Sabbath.
Exactly. And Ozzy.
So, what made this particular event so special? Why are we doing a deep dive on this one?
Well, our mission here is really to unpack that final live show. Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne. The sources we have, they paint this really rich picture of why it mattered so much.
Not just for the fans packed in there, but bigger than that.
Yeah, for heavy metal itself,
Yeah.
we're going to look at the key moments, the sheer star power involved, and what it all says about their legacy. Really get into what this meant for rock history.
All right, let's set the scene then. This grand finale, they called it, back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Apt name.
It happened at Villa Park in Birmingham, and the scale, just huge, right? 40,000 fans.
Yeah, 40,000 packed in. And the location itself, Villa Park. It's like right near where Ozzy grew up.
Wow, so it's a real homecoming vibe.
Definitely adds that emotional layer. And Ozzy himself, he basically said, look, this is a goodbye as far as my live performances go.
And what a way to go out, his words.
Exactly. Which, I mean, for an artist like him, someone who really defines so much, making that definitive statement, that's powerful.
It really is. It's like closing a major chapter.
It is. It's more than just stopping touring. It's cementing that legendary status,
Mm-hmm.
His presence, his performance, it's baked into the genre's DNA.
And that name, back to the beginning, what's the story there?
Well, the really significant thing was the lineup. It was the first time the full original Black Sabbath was together on stage in, 20 years?
The full original. So
Ozzy, Tony Iommi on guitar, Geezer Butler bass and lyrics, and Bill Ward on drums, the four of them.
Since 2005, you said.
Yeah. And Ozzy, before the show, you can tell how much it meant. He said this lineup means everything. He felt very emotional and blessed. It just shows a personal weight alongside the history.
Okay, so the anticipation must have been massive. How did Ozzy actually make his entrance? What did that look like?
Oh, it was pure theater. Legendary stuff. He performed seated, right, on this elaborate black throne.
A throne? Seriously?
Yeah. And it rose up from below the stage. Imagine the roar from the crowd.
I can only imagine. And performing seated, we should probably mention why, right? His health.
Right. Yeah, that's crucial context. He's 76, dealing with Parkinson's, other health issues. So sitting down was necessary.
But it sounds like the spirit was definitely still there.
Absolutely. You could feel the emotion. He told the crowd, "You have no idea how I feel. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." And people say he looked genuinely overwhelmed sometimes.
Still a showman there.
Oh, yeah. Even seated. Clapping, waving his arms, pulling those classic Ozzy wild-eyed faces. Just like old times, they said. His voice maybe wavered a little bit here and there.
Understandable.
But it still had power. Still packed a punch. And the set list was interesting, too.
How so?
He started with 5 solo songs. Kicked off with his own stuff.
And then the Sabbath guys joined him for 4 more. And they finished with, well, arguably their biggest hit, right?
A
Paranoid.
classic from 1970. Maybe not their heaviest, but everyone knows it.
Exactly. It shows that other side, that kind of melodic hook they had even back then, amongst all the, pioneering heavy sound.
So this whole thing felt bigger than just Sabbath's farewell, didn't it? It got called the Heavy Metal Live Aid.
It did, yeah. And for good reason. The lineup was just insane, but also the charity aspect was huge.
Right, the charitable side. Where did the money go? The tickets weren't cheap, I gather.
No, they ranged from like 200 pounds up to 2,000 pounds, serious money. But the profits went to cure Parkinson's, Birmingham Children's Hospital, and Acorn Children's Hospice.
That's great. And the lineup that earned it, that Live Aid comparison. Who else was playing?
Oh man, where to start? It was a roll call: Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Slayer, Tool, Pantera.
Wow.
Gojira, Alice in Chains, Anthrax, Lamb of God, Hailstorm, Rival Sons, Mastodon. Just an incredible bill. Diverse too. That is like a festival lineup in itself. But then there were these supergroups formed just for the event.
Yes. That was maybe the most unique part. These weren't just bands playing their sets. They were putting together these one-off collaborations. Artists from totally different bands, different corners of rock and metal.
Okay, you got to give us some examples. Who was in these things?
All right, so one of them, get this, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins.
No, what?
Ronnie Wood from the Stones. Steven Tyler from Aerosmith apparently sounded really good, back on form.
Nice.
Adam Jones from Tool. KK Downing from Judas Priest. Vernon Reid, Living Colour. Chad Smith, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Sammy Hagar, Van Halen era. Tom Morello, Travis Barker from Blink-182,
Oh,
and Tobias Forge from Ghost.
that's unbelievable. All on stage together.
In one group, yeah.
Wow.
And that wasn't the only one. There was another with Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, David Ellefson, ex-Megadeth, Mike Borden from Faith No More, David Draymond from Disturbed,
Yeah.
Scott Ian,
Yep.
Anthrax, Youngblood, Nuno Betancourt from Extreme.
It's like a fantasy rock league or something. Just trying to imagine the sound of those combinations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing potential.
Any other standout moments from these collaborations? Anything particularly memorable?
Well, yeah, there was this titanic battle of three drummers. A drum-off.
A drum.
Travis Barker, Chad Smith, and Danny Carey from Tool. Can you imagine the power? Just boom.
That's insane. What else?
And Youngblood did Changes. You know, the Sabbath song from 72.
Oh, yeah, the ballad. The one Ozzy did with Kelly.
That's the one. Went to #1 as a duet with his daughter Kelly back in 2003. So seeing Youngblood do it kind of highlighted that cross-generational thing, you know, how
Yep.
Sabbath's music just keeps finding new audiences, new interpretations.
That generational impact. That really seems like a theme for the whole day, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Because you saw so many other artists just like tipping their hats to Sabbath,
Yeah.
paying homage.
Constantly. James Hetfield from Metallica, he just flat out said it. Without
But-
Sabbath, there would be no Metallica.
Wow, direct quote.
Yep. And then added, "Thank you for giving us purpose in life." Heavy stuff.
That's huge respect. And Guns N' Roses, too.
Yeah. They covered Never Say Die, the 78 Sabbath track, and Axl Rose ended their set shouting, "Birmingham, Ozzy, Sabbath, thank you."
It really drives home their influence, doesn't it?
Yep.
What do these tributes really tell us?
I mean, if you step back and look at the big picture, it just solidifies it, right? Black Sabbath aren't just a metal band, they're the architects, the blueprint.
The foundation.
Exactly. Phil Anselmo from Pantera said it perfectly. He said, without Sabbath, all the artists on that bill would all be different people, called them the greatest of all time.
You can't argue with that, really.
Not when you hear from guys like him.
Yeah.
And Sammy Hagar, backstage, he was saying, Black Sabbath really kind of started all this, the metal era. Everyone looks at them like the kings.
The Kings. That sums it up.
Yeah. And Hagar predicted the whole event is going to go down in history as the greatest metal event of all time. Looking back, hard to disagree.
And this feeling, this reverence, it wasn't just the bands on stage feeling it, right? What was the vibe like in the crowd?
Oh, electric. Absolutely electric. The reports said the pitch was just a sea of Black Sabbath t-shirts and rock hand signs everywhere.
Horns up.
Exactly. And some areas apparently turned into total moshing melees. Proper old school energy.
And someone was waving an inflatable bat. Seriously.
Yep. Someone spotted that. A clear nod.
Yeah.
To the infamous 82 bat incident.
Yeah, I love the fans. That kind of, it makes it more than a concert. It's a shared cultural moment.
Totally. It's that collective memory, decades of fandom all coming together and adding to that whole spectacle. The compare for the show was Jason Momoa.
Aquaman, really?
The very same. Hollywood actor, massive metal fan apparently. He totally got into the spirit, even told the crowd he was jumping into the mosh pit.
Did he actually?
Said he was. Make some space for me, I'm coming in, he announced. And he paid tribute too. Said something like, the history of Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne is to look back at the best who've ever done it.
Cool. So even Hollywood was represented? Any other big names involved?
Yeah, there were video messages too.
Mm-hmm.
From people like Jack Black Momoa's co-star in the Minecraft movie, apparently. Billy Idol. Dolly Parton even.
Dolly Parton. Okay, that shows the reach. Wow.
Right. Just underlines that universal respect across all kinds of music and entertainment.
So wrapping this deep dive up, it's just undeniable, isn't it? This wasn't your average gig.
Not even close.
It was deeply emotional, a huge celebration, and just this massive testament to how much Black Sabbath and Ozzy have shaped things. For musicians, for fans, for generations.
Yeah. Ozzy's gratitude seemed so genuine. The emotion was just thick in the air, you know. And the talent gathered. Truly historic.
It really felt like it cemented their legacy right there on stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's so fascinating, I think, is how it wasn't just looking back. It showed how foundational they still are. Their sound, their approach. It's the blueprint. You saw it in every single band that played that day.
Their fingerprints are everywhere in metal.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
It wasn't just an ending. It felt like this living, breathing acknowledgement of that fact, that ongoing influence. Which kind of leaves you with a thought, doesn't it?
Go on.
Well, think about today's world. Constant information, trends changing in a heartbeat. How often do you actually get to see something like this? This unified, star-studded tribute. marking a definitive end to live shows for a band that literally carved out the path for a whole genre of music history. How rare is that kind of moment, really?